The world woke to explosions deep inside Russia. Not just any targets, these were airbases housing Moscow's long-range nuclear bombers. Suddenly, Russia's most fearsome weapons looked exposed. Alarms blared, smoke rose, and the myth of invulnerability shattered. This wasn't a border skirmish. It was a direct hit, hundreds of kilometers from Ukraine. The message: nowhere is safe, not even the heart of Russia's nuclear arsenal. The prized Tupolevs, symbols of power, were now symbols of vulnerability. These bombers are a pillar of Russia's nuclear triad, their ultimate deterrent. Ukraine, with bold precision, just rattled that deterrent. The psychological blow is immense, a dent in Russian prestige, a shock to global security. Satellite images soon contradicted Moscow's claims of minor damage. The world saw fire, destruction, and a superpower caught off guard. This was a dramatic escalation, not just for Russia and Ukraine, but for everyone watching. The old rules of safety no longer applied. The game had changed dramatically. Russia's aura of military invincibility was pierced. The world watched, stunned, as the implications sank in. This was a wake-up call for military planners everywhere. If Russia's nuclear shield can be touched, what else is vulnerable? The shockwaves from this attack would ripple far beyond the blast zone. Suddenly, the stakes of this war and the risks felt much higher. The era of untouchable superpower assets was over, and the world was left to wonder what comes next. What really happened that night? It wasn't luck. It was a coordinated assault. Multiple Russian bomber bases like Engels 2 and Sheikovka were hit. These aren't just parking lots. They're the nerve centers of Russia's strategic air power. Home to Tu-95S and Tu-160S, icons of nuclear might. The attackers, small, stealthy drones, flying low and undetected. Russian air defenses worth billions were outsmarted by what looked like hobbyist tech. The surprise was total. Defenders caught off guard, systems bypassed. The precision of the strikes points to excellent intelligence. Ukraine knew exactly where and when to hit. The damage? Moscow downplayed it, but even a single bomber lost is a huge blow. These aircraft are irreplaceable in the short term. Each loss stings. For Ukraine, it's a propaganda coup. For Russia, a logistical nightmare. The distances these drones traveled are staggering, deep into supposedly secure airspace. It's like a burglar robbing Fort Knox and leaving a calling card. Ukraine proved it can reach Russia's heartland. That changes the calculus for both sides. The audacity of the raid is breathtaking. Russia's layered defenses were breached by ingenuity, not brute force. The world took notice. Ukraine's reach is longer than anyone thought. This wasn't just a tactical win. It was a strategic shock. The myth of Russian air defense superiority is in tatters. The rules of modern warfare just shifted. Ukraine's message: nowhere is out of reach. And for Russia, the embarrassment is impossible to hide. The balance of fear has been disrupted. How did Ukraine pull this off? Ingenuity, desperation, and smart tactics. Forget high-tech superweapons. Think modified commercial drones and homegrown models. Cheap, effective, and hard to stop. Russia's air defenses are powerful, but not foolproof, especially against small, slow drones. Ukraine exploited every weakness, flying low, using terrain for cover, jamming signals. It's guerrilla warfare, 21st century style. Russia built a fortress for wolves. Ukraine sent in mice. The real weapon wasn't just the drone. It was the intelligence behind it. Knowing base layouts, flight paths, and defense gaps takes meticulous planning. Some suspect Western intelligence played a role, though no one will say it out loud. Ukraine is fighting a bigger, better-equipped enemy, so it has to be smarter and bolder. This strike is proof innovation can trump brute force. The attack wasn't just about hardware. It was about brains and bravery. Ukraine adapted, improvised, and struck where it hurt most. The world saw a David and Goliath moment, with drones as slingshots. The message: you don't need billion-dollar jets to change the game. Simple tools, used cleverly, can have outsized impact. Russia's vulnerabilities are now exposed for all to see. The psychological effect is as important as the physical damage. Ukraine's unconventional arsenal is rewriting the playbook. The lesson: adapt or fall behind. In this war, brains beat brawn, and the underdog just landed a knockout punch. The future of conflict looks a lot more unpredictable. Russia's public response: bluster and threats, accusations of nuclear terrorism, vows of retaliation. But behind closed doors, panic reigned. Generals scrambled to explain how billion-dollar defenses failed against cheap drones. Heads rolled, scapegoats were found. Someone had to pay for this humiliation. Protecting nuclear assets is supposed to be priority one. Suddenly, jets scrambled, air defenses were reinforced, bombers moved east. Russia was reacting, not dictating. Ukraine had seized the initiative, forcing Moscow onto the defensive. Putin's image as Russia's protector took a hit. If bombers aren't safe, what is? The myth of invulnerability was shattered. Russia's military reputation looked shaky. The emperor's new clothes, exposed for all to see, and a few bombers missing too. This isn't just Russia and Ukraine's problem anymore. The world is on edge. Leaders calling, analysts debating, nerves fraying. Western capitals feel vindicated but anxious. Escalation is a real fear. Attacks near nuclear assets are a red line for many nations. The risk of miscalculation or accident is terrifyingly real. Experts are split. Some call it smart defense. Others warn of reckless escalation. Ukraine's strike is bold, but it's also dangerous. The boundaries of this conflict are blurring. Old rules are burning with those bombers. Everyone is holding their breath, waiting for the next move. The stakes have never been higher. The world is watching, and nobody knows what comes next. The unthinkable feels a little closer, and the tension is palpable. This strike is a game changer not just for this war, but for warfare itself. Welcome to the drone age cheap. Remote weapons can devastate even superpowers. Air power is now democratized. Small nations, even non-state actors, can strike deep. Every sensitive facility worldwide is now a potential target. Defending against swarms of cheap drones is nearly impossible. For Russia, it's a strategic nightmare. Too many targets, too few defenses. The cost of countering this threat is enormous. The war's front lines have shifted from trenches to the skies, from tanks to tech. Military planners everywhere are taking notes. The proliferation of drone tactics will reshape global security. It's a technological leap with unsettling consequences. The future of conflict is here, and it's buzzing. The old playbook is obsolete. Adapt or be left behind. So, was Ukraine's strike genius or recklessness? The answer is complicated and dangerous. Ukraine landed a psychological blow, forcing Russia onto the defensive. For a nation fighting for survival, it was a powerful statement. But poking a nuclear-armed bear is always risky. Putin's response is unpredictable. Will he escalate or pull back? This war keeps defying predictions, and this strike raises the stakes again. Kiev is walking a tightrope, defend itself, but avoid catastrophe. Was the risk worth it? Only time will tell. The world is watching, hoping for sanity. The dice are rolling, and the outcome is uncertain. In this new era, boldness and danger go hand in hand. Good luck, everyone.